Israel Adesanya went out there and did it. He slayed the dragon. He did what so many people thought that he could not do. And how could you doubt him? After going 0-3 and against Pereira, he goes out there and just earns this victory in the most dramatic and decisive way that you possibly can. I mean, when you saw the emotion pouring out of Izzy after this fight, you could tell just how big this was to him, man, and what a performance. You know, in the build-up to this one, there was a lot of people surprised that the odds maker labeled him as a favorite. And Izzy actually mentioned it. He said, I'm a little bit surprised by it as well, but what they recognized is that I'm the more polished fighter. And that's absolutely true. Going into this one, it was easy to see Israel Adesanya is the more polished fighter. He's the more versatile guy. He's the guy who has more weapons available to him. Now, Alex Pereira is no joke. He's got the kicks. He's got the punches. He's got a lot of things going for him as well. But the one thing that he has going for him that can't be matched is that nuclear power. And we all knew it. Izzy knew it. Everybody in the stands, everybody at home, everyone knew what this was a matchup of. So we go out here, step out for the first round. Very technical round, very close ultimately. Now, what stood out to me, number one, was the low kicks from Pereira. You could tell that was a big part of his game plan. He landed a lot of them. They were hurting. They were adding up. It was still early in the fight. I was looking at it and thinking, man, if this thing ends up going long, if it ends up going the distance, how are those going to play out? Because they are already not looking good. Izzy, on the other hand, did a lot of his best work from the outside. Played the sniper, kept control at the distance. But he didn't allow himself to be backed up too much. You could tell that that was a part of his game plan as well. It was not to allow himself to be on the back foot too frequently. He mixed things up really well between holding his ground, using lateral movement, working the jab, mixing in some kicks. Each man had some really good movements, and ultimately, it was a close round. Now, in between the rounds, they went to Alex Pereira's corner, and he did a lot of talking. It actually really stood out to me. He was pretty amped up. He was pretty animated, talking about Adesanya was already feeling the effects of those low kicks. His leg was already starting to slow down a little bit and hurt. Pereira mentioned how he was staying away from the right hand. He felt that he was doing a lot of good work out there. His confidence was through the roof, man. It was really interesting heading into that second. And when we get out there for the second, it was amped up a little bit more in the sense that you saw Pereira doing some more work the exact same way that he was doing in the first, going after those low kicks, trying to land his shots. But Izzy, man, he ramped it up a notch. He was becoming more aggressive. He was coming forward more. He was trying to land more powerful strikes. He was trying to get his punches off. And then we saw it, man. Then we saw that low kick buckle Adesanya's leg. And as soon as Pereira saw that leg buckle, man, that was like a shark smelling blood in the water. He was just after him. Adesanya gets on the back foot, tries to create a little bit of distance. We see Poatan get him against the cage, and he just starts trying to unload. It is easy to think that the end is near. He lands some punches to the body. He lands a knee. And then Adesanya, who later on says, I was playing possum, just lands a ferocious right hand over the top, reminiscent of the one that we saw in the first fight at the end of the first round, man. He was just a sitting duck for that right hand. He must have really thought that he had him. Adesanya comes over the top, stuns him, lands another huge right hand. His head bounces off of the canvas, man. He's out, and then it's just the hammer fist on top to seal the deal. Man, look at the emotion here as Izzy jumps up, uses Poatan's bow and arrow move against him, shoots 3 into him, and is just incredibly geeked. I can't blame the man. What a great performance. You get knocked out twice by this guy, come out here and immediately take this rematch, which is something else when you think about it. He said his trainer, Eugene Behrman, wasn't really for it. Personally, I was really surprised by it, that he pulled that move, that you get beat and stopped and come back for this rematch immediately and so quickly. But my hat's off to the man. What an incredible performance. He came out there with a solid game plan. He was executing. You can tell he has just got no quit in him, no fear in him whatsoever. And he comes out there and slays the dragon, in the sense that this man that he appeared to not be able to get past after dominating so many other people. And he comes out there and just seems to be hurt. Really close fight in a lot of ways. Catching all of these leg kicks that he can't feel great about, and just lands 2 ferocious right hands to end the night. What a performance. So once again, we've got Israel Adesanya wearing the belt. What a performance. So what do you think is going to be next from this one? You have to imagine that eventually we are going to see another fight between these two. It probably won't be an immediate one. This isn't going to be Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo in that regard. But you have to figure that down the road, we're going to see these two men lock in that cage again. But what do you think is going to be next? Is it going to be a little bit of time off for each of them? Most likely after these performances. But who are we going to see get the next shot at the belt against Adesanya? Who are we going to see Pereira step in there against? And how long before we see him again? A year, 2 years? Each man going to have to rack off a few wins. But what a performance. What a performance. Israel Adesanya and the new reclaims the title. Let me know what you guys think.